Hi guys, and welcome to today's live stream. Controversial talk regarding the monetization of Bitwig Studio. I'm just reading up a little bit here on the comments so far. And like always, before we begin the live streams, how's the audio? How's the image? Is everything okay? How are you all today? By the way, thanks a lot for that super chat, Gabriel. Gabriel Messido, thank you. So I had that perfect intro melody. It's one of my tracks from the Diabolical Lilith album I released a few years back. It's called The Inquisition. So I just thought it would be a fun little addition to today's stream. There's a lot of people today. Great. Good to see you all. Kip, Raz Alfred, Pascal Minery, Fellow Lampin, hi there, welcome to the stream. Scarig Sigmatic, Odo. Thanks. Yeah, you look good too. Still suffering from a complete 14 upgrade. Oh. Steep price. Hi there, Rick. Hi there, Rainer. Garon, hi. Yeah, aren't we all a little bit of grump today? A little grumpy. Hi there, Madman. Good to see you. Welcome. Let's see, I'll just resize the chat window a little bit here. Right, so good to have you all today. Tengrai, welcome. Good to see you again here on the live stream. Quite some people in here today. That's really nice. Nice to see a lot of new faces too here. Jonathan Mattisson. Andres Franke. Right, so today's topic, I think we have gathered enough people, we've drank enough coffee, a good amount of water, and it's time to get started with the discussion here today. And it's obviously regarding the controversial monetization of Bitwig Studio. So what do you all think about this, the new plugin suite being not part of the regular subscription plan? Hi Carl, välkommen. Starmace, good to see you. Good evening. Maybe we could actually just take a look at, because there might be some new people in here who's completely mental decision by the CEO. Welcome. Today we've been gathered to watch the dissolvement of a platform. Just kidding. Right, so let's see if I can share my screen here. My little desk snop. something like that. Right, so the topic is really the Bitwig DAW, the Bitwig Studio platform. Previously, and since way back, has been a subscription where you pay annually for 12 months, and during these 12 months you get basically all the upgrades and all the new stuff that Bitwig adds to the DAW. And that's how it's been up until now. And now today they just released a bunch of new plugins, and these new plugins is not part of the upgrade plan. You have to pay them for them separately. And they also have the option so you can buy the Bitwig Studio plan with the Spectral suite, which is the new like a plugin bundle bundled together. So basically, if you have this subscription, you don't get these plugins just by default, which probably have angered a lot of people. And I think it's a very, very strange decision to make this drop like instantly like this. I think that a proper announcement, in my opinion, would have been that let's see if it's possible to switch the screen here again. Like there's a three factor to this. You have the marketing decisions, you have obviously the monetization point, and you have the communication, or rather the lack thereof communication. And a proper announcement would probably have been that like maybe 6 months back they would go out with a press notice and say that in maybe 6 months we're going to start selling separate Bitwig plugins, and these will be purchased separately aside from your regular subscription plan. And plus also adding some additional text, maybe explaining why these plugins don't fit the regular update plan. Because maybe they are like exploring experimental sound design tools that's outside of the scope of the regular updates. But it's a weird question, because Bitwig to me is it's a total experimental sound design platform in itself. So, but they could have gone out with a message 6 months back and tell that in 6 months we're going to release plugins, separate plugins, and they will not be part of the upgrade plan, and explain the separation, why they will release separate plugins outside the scope of the regular like update plan or the major DAW. So they basically would break out and say that this is DAW specific functionality and this is plugin functionality. Yeah, that's definitely that would be and definitely have been a better way to go about it, rather than just dropping the bomb like today that hey guys, you're not going to get this new stuff that's that should have been part of the plan. But I mean, there's a few different routes they could have gone also, but everything is I think it's all lack of communication, because especially if you're a small developer, because I still feel that Bitwig is quite kind of niche DAW. There's a lot of like modeler guys and experimental sound design guys that's working with Bitwig Studio. At least that's if you look at like the majority of YouTubers, etc. You often see like Ableton Live, FL Studio obviously, and Cubase sometimes, and these other DAWs, but it's quite rarely that you see people using Bitwig Studio. And when you see it used, it's often in like experimental sound design and that kind of scenarios. I'm reading up a little bit on the comments here. Doing some proper ASMR candy eating. Meme, so why the delay plus is not additional functionality? But it all seems like a big marketing mistake and a communication mistake, because I think it's extremely important when you have this kind of a niche niche society around, niche community around your product, and it's a quite small niche, then you really need to be careful about your communication with your customers, because it can easily get out of hand, like we saw in Robert Polarity's earlier demonstration video that he posted earlier today. So another route that they could have gone with this kind of a release is maybe push out. Now they released all these Spectral plugins in one single suite: the transient split, loud split, harmonic split, and frequency split in one bundle. But maybe they could have added it to the regular update plan, but maybe released it like one plugin now, and then in 3 months they release the loud split, and then yeah, you know the drill. So that's one way they could have gone with it. And I actually did a comment on Robert's video earlier today here, and yeah, because if they had explained earlier, previous to releasing this hi there, Polarity, if they had explained this previously, that they were going to do this like differentiation and split out some of the plugins and release them as separate entities, it would have been much easier for the community to get along with it. Especially if they explain it that these are like separate sound design tools. They are not like DAW specific tasks. And probably also explain in text, these are just my thoughts on how they could have presented this and how they could have done the communication. And they could have said that we're charging for these new upgrades because we're going to create a small team that's going to develop these separate plugin sets for Bitwig Studio. So in order to have them create these wonderful different experimental sound design bundles and plugins, we will have these as a separate entity apart from the DAW. And then the regular Bitwig team can continue and focus solely on DAW functionality. Like there's been plenty of discussion regarding integrating an MSEG. Maybe an MSEG isn't like the most obvious thing you would need to the DAW functionality, but I'm thinking more of things like piano roll updates, like midi editing functionality in the piano roll. I discovered this really really weird issue with a timeline in Bitwig the other day here, which if you're a new user to a DAW, you probably want this to work in a certain way. I'm going to jump over to Bitwig Studio here and show you a little bit what I mean. See if I can switch over to the correct window and just make sure that we have audio from the DAW. So here is a little new track I'm working on. Right, so I'm not gonna sell you any beats today. This is just I'm going to highlight a little oddity that I bumped into the other day, which is probably going to be annoying for new users. And it goes something like this. So say I would so now I have a little bit of latency, but anyways. So we can jump to maybe, yeah, this section. And say I want to record something here, and we set the playhead meter a little bit earlier here. We set it to like bar 4 here. And I have this tremolo instrument selected. So now if I record a little phrase here, we fire away first the play, and then we fire away the record button here. Now, so that's all fine and well, and if I'm going to play this back, it's going to be totally tight and fine. If we zoom in, we can see that I played exactly here on the first beat of bar 6. And the same thing for these other chords. So we can listen back, can bump the volume a little bit so we can hear it a little bit better. And now if I enter this clip, we can see that suddenly we don't see the timeline from our original timeline. We see the own timeline of this clip, the isolated timeline of the clip, rather than the whole timeline. Of course we can change that, but for a new user jumping to Bitwig Studio, this would probably be quite annoying, because it looks like I was playing late here, that I was not playing on exactly on bar 6 here. Obviously there's another way to fix this, and that's just to drag this to a whole bar, because we have snapping automatically activated, and press Command J to consolidate this. Now look what happens to the notes here. And bam! And now they're perfectly in time here. So that's just a little bit of annoyance that's probably going to freak out new users jumping to Bitwig Studio and recording MIDI and jumping into the clips, and suddenly it looks like they're playing outside of the grid. But I fired him a support ticket that they should not start the creation of the clip here right when you press record, but it should rather start the creation of the clip when you start to input MIDI data. And it could that's how it works in Logic, at least. That's if you record something and you start to play around here, or if you're a little bit early, it's going to snap the MIDI clip and start to create the MIDI clip exactly from the one on one of these on the bars, on the meters. So that's just a little bit of an annoyance that's probably going to upset new users. But that's just a side note to this discussion. I just wanted to highlight what could be an annoyance for new users jumping over to Bitwig Studio. So back to the discussion. I'm going to read through a little bit of the comments here and check up on your thoughts on this communication miss from Bitwig. Scarig Sigmatic, you don't want a sound pack, you just want a candy-eating ASMR sample pack. Yeah, that's next up in the production line, definitely. Okay, so Dan Miller, I disagree with Polarity. We were sold on a deal of subscription for unlimited updates and upgrades, not whatever this is. So this is definitely what's going to pop up in many people's heads, and in mine too, because when you buy a subscription and they haven't communicated anything else, and it's a quite steep introduction price into Bitwig Studio, and also this the updates, the annual updates of the subscriptions. So you definitely feel that any kind of updates that's related to that application should be free in your subscription. So I totally understand that philosophy. Yeah, I know there's a way to flip that, but it should have been Fabian. The timeline should have been displayed from within the clip, the same timeline bars and etc. as in your regular timeline. I think it's just a flaw that it displays its own timeline for the clips, especially if you're new to the Bitwig jumping from another DAW. You probably expect it to show the MIDI notes as you record them into the timeline, and not show some isolated timeline from, because when you press play and when you press record, it might happen whenever in the middle of a bar in offbeat, and yeah, so it's going to be a very weird starting point for that isolated timeline. New abnormal. No, I'm not going to do any kind of exploration of the Spectral plugins within this video. I thought that this video is mainly to talk a little bit about the marketing decisions, the communication or lack thereof, the communication, and I want to give my thoughts on how I think that the proper announcement of the Spectral plugins and the split here to divide the DAW development and separate plugin development. They should have communicated that pretty early on, that they were going to do this kind of split. I totally feel you, Hans. Totally feel you. It's an extremely huge miss to do this kind of, especially with the economic situation we have in the world at the moment. It's a total miss. And especially if you look at the payment philosophy of FL Studio, where you just you pay once. Obviously, they have these different models of FL Studio, and on some of these you get more plugins and whatnot. But at least if you pay for FL Studio, you get all the updates to the DAW functionality and extra plugins too. But basically, you pay once for the plugin, you pay once for the DAW platform, and then you own it. And yeah, I was going to say that earlier, but what I wrote in Robert's post was that they could have also developed these plugins as like third-party plugins, so they would work in any kind of DAW, not just Bitwig Studio, but say that they developed these with the Clap API, which is the new excellent API for plugin development. And it could work in like Cubase, FL Studio, Logic, or whatever DAW that you choose to work in. And I mean, obviously it's going to be a bit different in these other DAWs, and breaking this out to work in other DAWs also raises other kinds of support questions, because they might get questions from like Cubase, why is this not working with these kinds of plugins, etc. So it's definitely going to be more support if they created like more an open plugin that works with any type of DAW. But that's one way they could have done it, and then the regular subscribers could have the Bitwig versions for free, and then if you buy these separately, you could have them for the other DAWs. I think FL Studio has this kind of payment model also with the Harmors, and at least they had it previously, so you could buy them separately and run them within other DAWs. Frank, yeah. As I said, it's a hefty introduction price, and also a quite hefty subscription fee for the annual subscription, so I definitely feel that these plugins could have been part of that. At least if they didn't do any communication like 6 months back, or at least 3 months back, and tell the community that they're going to divide some kind of plugin development, divide the company in some part of plugin development, and one part will focus totally on DAW functionality, like improving the piano roll, adding video support, which I've been asking for since ages. I told Claes at Bitwig, one of the founders of Bitwig Studio, at the NAMM 2020, I asked for video support. I also asked to interview them, but somehow I didn't get an interview. I wonder why. Just gonna look up the comments a little bit more here. Always adult comments. Nice. You know it's a good stream when you have adult comments. Or not. Did anyone see my latest video on music gear for beginners, where I was recommending DAWs? There was a reason why I chose to recommend Logic and FL Studio, and that's mainly the payment model. Because genuinely, I'm not very fond of subscription models, because they quickly get out of hand. And just look at the mobile gaming industry. It's just a mess these days. Previously, a few years back, you could buy like single games, adventure games, etc., and they were all good and fine. But these days, it's all subscriptions. Same thing with like video editors on mobile. It's all subscriptions. Maybe they're trying to do a teenage engineering and just raise the price bar. But in my opinion, they're not teenage engineering when it comes to either design or... Yeah, it's quite a niche kind of plugin bundle, this Spectral plugins here. It's probably not for everybody. I would rather have seen video support and an updated piano roll with more MIDI functionality. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can pick from the FL Studio piano roll. It has plenty of really nice features that makes it super quick to compose and rearrange your MIDI. But I know in Bitwig there's plenty of these modulators that you can use to modulate MIDI too, but some of us really want to work in the piano roll and work with the hard-coded MIDI, so to speak, the MIDI data, rather than having it getting out of hand. Like generative music. Meme extended piano roll add-on, $199. Coming to you 2025. Yeah, I hope they will listen to the community here and take in the communication, marketing decisions, and really start to talk to their community a little bit more about what they're planning up ahead. And that's also something I asked Claes now when we're talking about it. I also asked, what's the roadmap? What's going to happen here with the DAW? Because at the moment I was working a lot with FL Studio and Logic, and you see a lot of stuff that you could you could add to Bitwig to make it a really nice DAW and more in competition with the other DAWs. But they've like niched in to make and build on this the grid system. And that's all fine and nice, but for some of us, I really like to work in Bitwig Studio. It's a tremendously superb DAW. It looks nice. It's a nice workflow, super quick to make groups and make simple functionalities. Like side chaining and all these kinds of stuff to control, having side chains from other tracks, control equalizers, etc. It's super simple to do all these setups in Bitwig Studio, but in other DAWs it's a little bit more hassle and setups. But often when you're working in the FL Studio or Logic, you make kind of templates and do this like pre-production setups. So if you do those templates and setup, it's not a very big deal, but in Bitwig it's always very quick to just throw in a tool device and an audio sidechain modulator and have it duct the volume or the spread of the stereo spread or something. Yeah, the support line is probably pretty bloated at the moment, Skareg. It's a little bit hard to pronounce. Skareg Sigmatic. Yeah, it's all about the communication before you do something. You have to communicate with your audience, and especially, I said this earlier too, especially if you have a very niche audience and it's a quite small user group compared to like Ableton Live, Logic, FL Studio and these other DAWs. It's up and coming, but it's nowhere near the same kind of user base as these bigger DAWs. And I feel it's like super important when you're up and coming to talk to your community and really listen in and communicate what your plan is, at least a little bit into the future. Especially if you're doing these kinds of like drastic changes. So how many of you filed a support question to Bitwig regarding your subscription and not getting these new plugins? Hi there, Bill. Welcome to the game. Thanks for the little talk on Twitter earlier. Dane Miller, focus more on DAW functionality, that's what we want. Yeah, that's definitely what I would suggest too. I mean, they already have a very deep and generous grid environment at the moment, so I would definitely focus on DAW functionality if I were them. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I know I have a large following of Bitwig users since I've been doing these videos for many years now, and I also did this the Bitwig Masterclass, which is a success. And it's a good time to announce that I'm doing a masterclass in Logic Pro 2, so it's coming soon, and I'm going to do a more proper announcement of the Logic course in due time here. It's all in the making, but we've had like sick family members here and a lot of stuff happening, so with this new construction of the studio here too, and I have a bathroom in the background here, which I had some carpenters here earlier, both today and earlier this week, and so there's like dust all over here on the cameras, and so I need to do a little bit of cleaning here. Yes, Daniel, Audrey, yes, the masterclass is coming, but it will be a little while before it's published. And I will probably release it as an early access, so you can gain access to maybe like 10 episodes to begin with, and then I will drop new episodes every like second week or something. Like I did with the Bitwig Masterclass. It was only like, I think it was 18 episodes when I first dropped the Masterclass. But I think it was over 2 hours already, but since then I've dropped, I think it's 29 episodes now. So if you're new to Bitwig Studio and watching this stream, go and check out my Bitwig Studio Masterclass. Oh, and regarding the Masterclass, I do have a discount on my Masterclass, and I also could give a discount on Bitwig previously. But I suddenly got an email from the Bitwig support team that these discount codes on Bitwig would not be valid after a certain date. And I mean, that's also a signal, a red flag, that something is a little bit out out of hand. Because I thought it was like a nice gesture to be able to give the community a 15% discount on Bitwig, but somehow they dragged that away, so now it's only the full price. But if you do use some of my links to either buy or like extend your subscription, you do also support my work here on YouTube. I get a small portion from the purchase. Yeah, I mean, it's a hefty price, hefty introduction price. It's a quite adequate subscription and annual price. So I definitely also feel with you, Chris Taya's music. I feel that these plugins should have been included with the Bitwig regular subscription plan. Madman, yeah, you're absolutely right that Bitwig is a superb DAW to work in. It's just this like payment model that they have. It feels a little bit weird. I think that they should have released these plugins with a current subscription plan, or at least make a proper announcement very early on and tell the audience that they were going to split. We're going to have a dedicated DAW development team working solely on DAW functionality, what you could expect from the DAW from a sense. And then we will have a specific like experimental sound design team working on new and exciting Atmos plugins or whatever. It's pretty nice that you have Atmos in Logic Pro, but I bet for most people it will be a little bit of hassle to work with Atmos. It's another layer of figuring out. Yeah, it's a really downside that they chose to only. I understand it from that's also from a communication, from a marketing perspective from Apple, to keep Logic solely on the Apple platform, because they knew that it was a really professional DAW and they could bring so much people to only solely use their platforms. But as you've probably seen in my videos and stuff, I use a ton of MacBook Pros. They are expensive, but actually the new M1 model 8 gigs version was a real surprise to me, because it came at a quite good price. It's a small screen, it's a 13-inch monitor. I don't have it here. This is in the background here I have the M1 Max 32 gigs version, but I do have the 13-inch 8 gigs M1 too. And since many of the plugins and DAWs and everything is now mostly, for the most part, Apple Silicon and M1 compatible, you can get a lot of performance out of these computers. And it's just a fact that they draw less power, a lot less power than the Intel CPUs, and they also run a lot cooler. So it's great to have them in the couch when you're just hanging out and creating some beats in the sofa. Yeah, it would be nice to see some kind of response from the Bitwig developers, or at least maybe their CEO or something, and explain this decision and also maybe apologize and tell the community that future marketing and communication will be communicated more correctly and in all due time before they make like bigger changes or something like that. Yeah, I also said it earlier that if they made these plugins like with the Clap platform, so they would be compatible with other DAWs too, that would be like an introduction to present the power of the Bitwig platform to other users. So maybe you're running Cubase and you load up some of these new Spectral plugins. You see the Bitwig logo and you hear people talking about Bitwig DAW. Maybe you get more interested to check out the platform. That's a nice one, Bill Carroll. Germans apparently do marketing as well as they do tell jokes. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, here we have the adult postings again. You can't have a good stream without the adults. Can't I ban these somehow? Report. Report abuse of channel. Hide user from channel. There we go. Yeah, so that's basically my side of this, that Bitwig should have made a proper announcement and tell that they're going to divide the development departments, or call it whatever. So the DAW functionalities will be developed with one section, and they will have a separate section for like niche plugins that will be sold separately aside, like swimming, aside from the regular DAW platform. So it's two different things. Ember Blend. Ember Blend. Are you a blender? Yeah, I really love the Blender 3D application. It's superb. Fifth of October is the new German 1st of April. Sven Wittekind from Norway. Yeah, that's a great one. Vitali Pashkov. Good to see you. Is anyone using FL Studio in here? Do we have some FL Studio users today? Yeah, I still love Bitwig too. It's a really nice platform for musical exploration. It's a very clean and nice, sweet platform to work in. And personally, I'm not that super interested in these new like Spectral plugins. As you probably know from my channel, I'm more of a composer guy. I like to write music rather than just solely explore different weird plugins and stuff. Yeah, but frankly, I mean, FL Studio, they've had they pay once plan for I think it's is it 25 years, 30 years? At least it's a very long time they've had. You only pay once and then you own the product. But that's like way old these days. You can't pay once for anything. You have to pay subscription for food. Yeah, lifetime free. That's it's a really nice monetization model. But I guess ImageLine and FL Studio gained a huge amount of attraction from Avicii using the DAW. And the kids seeing Avicii running FL Studio on his computer probably draw a lot of attention to the brand and the product. Dane Miller, did you see the KVR post about this? No, I didn't. Can you post me the link? Yeah, it's a great workflow in Bitwig, Jonathan. Now, if we go back to one of my browsers here, let's see if we can do like this. And hopefully you can see my browser quite soon here. Right, so another miss here regarding communication, I think, is if you're surfing their website as a new customer, and you go to the Buy tab here, you see a Bitwig Workshop, and they have the Bitwig Studio 16 track, and the Buy button here, it says $99 US, and then the bigger Bitwig Studio brother here goes for $399, and then we have the Bitwig Studio plus the Spectral suite. Spectral suite there. And nowhere is it stated that this is a subscription plan. Where do they state that this is a subscription plan? It looks like you're just like buying a product. And then of course we have a separate, if you just want to buy the add-ons. And then comes the compare editions, and are you looking to renew or upgrade your license? But say you don't scroll this low on the web page and you just click this buy button here. Not even here do we see any kind of information regarding that this is a plan, that this is like a license that only allows you to get upgrades for 12 months. You only buy Bitwig Studio. It doesn't say which version either, but that's another question. And price in Swedish crowns. But then if you go a little bit lower down here when it comes to billing information, and here we can see it says auto renew my upgrade plan. And some information here regarding the upgrade plan. You will always have the latest version of Bitwig Studio. By enabling auto renewal, your 12-month upgrade plan will be automatically renewed, and that you can disable auto renewal. So now we get to know that this is a subscription model. So that's also a little bit weird from a sales perspective or a communication perspective. But that's just me, but that's just wanted to reflect on that. Checking up on some of your comments here again. See if I got that link. Darcy, the workflow and the patterns in FL Studio are just a nightmare after you use another DAW. After Bitwig you just can't go back, but it's some of its instruments are legendary, and its piano roll, yes. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I do still produce some tracks in FL Studio, quite a lot of them, and do a lot of sound design, because there's great sound export functionalities that you can't see in other DAWs that FL Studio has. Like, you can get renaming from timeline markers into the files, etc. And that's not just possible. It's probably way low on the development plan of on the Bitwig platform. And yeah, that's just a bad thing with FL Studio. That's the organization, and that you have like patterns all over. And you can see like big producers, when they're going to do tutorials and stuff on YouTube, you can see that they're searching for their own stuff and trying to figure out what automation belongs to what, etc. So it can really get out of hand if you're not like careful and plan your arrangements. Piano roll is excellent in FL Studio. Who is the next Avicii on Bitwig? Let's see. Klaus Herbert. I won't get any more upgrades until Bitwig made up their minds. Yeah, hopefully we will see some kind of straightforward communications quite soon from the developers. Thank you, Polarity. Thank you. Thanks for the donation. It's a silly setup here today. I have an iPad below here with the comments and stuff. It's like a secondary screen to my main monitor. After is better than the party. Just want to test the alerts, look like it work. Yeah, looks like I have OBS set up just fine here today. I think like some stream ago I forgot to add the chat window to the recording screen in OBS, so the comments didn't appear on screen, which is what was a little bit annoying. Chris, from a marketing perspective, this makes no sense at all. Yeah, it's definitely, this is a marketing miss. Communication miss. Here we have the adult sites again. Yeah, right. So I'm getting a little bit tired here. I've been up the whole past evening because we have a kid with like fever for a few days. So starting to take its toll here on me. But thanks to everybody coming by tonight and talking and ventilating regarding this communication miss from the Bitwig developers. And hopefully they can do some adjustments or clarify how the future looks, so people won't get so upset on the next update and the next plugin bundle or whatever. And it would have been super awesome if they made these plugins with clap, so everybody could use this in whatever DAW you were using. That would have been like super nice. That would have been superb. Yeah, good to have you here, Bill and Starmaze, Dane Miller, everybody coming by today. Hope to see you all in the next live stream too. I have some reviews coming up. I bought this little fun guitar pedal, the Dream 65 from UAD. Which we're going to talk about in a video quite soon here. I've been using it to record a little bit of guitars. It's been a while, but I'm getting up to speed with the blues chops. Yeah, thanks for coming by today, guys. Hope you all have a nice evening wherever you are, and just stay cool. And Olaf, thanks for dropping by. Professor Positivity, Raindrops, Terminator, Dreadbox. Yeah, so probably very nice pedals. I don't have too many pedals, while I have that the Soya pedal and some Zoom pedals and stuff. But most of the time previously I've been using just the amps and stuff that you have on the Apollo Twin X, and also more recently the amplifiers that you have with the Zen Tour from Antelope Audio. It's also quite a nice plug-in suit. But I really like the sound from this Dream 65 pedal. It's a really nice like tone to it. It sounds exactly like playing on the old amps in the studio way back. Olaf, yeah, Bitwig is still a really nice DAW. This is just a communication miss, and hopefully we can get it over with soon and not have this kind of misses happening in the future, because it's a really big one, and especially with the economy at the moment, it's a total miss. Yeah, so thanks for dropping by today again. Here's some English. The candy of this evening is all sorts English confectyr. This is my kind of candy. I'm a licorice kind of guy. Boss HM2. Yeah, you know, back in the day I had that, what was it called? The Line 6. That one that looked like like a red ass. And after that I bought the Pod XT, I think it was. And I also had some Rat pedals and Trainor amplifier back in the days. Love me some Lake Ridge. Good to see you, Isomatic. I didn't notice that you were in the stream. It's a little bit hard to catch up with the chat when it's this many people joining in. Yeah, right. Thanks for today, everybody. See you in the next live stream, video, or whatever. As usual, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to leave a like, leave a subscribe or whatever, ring that freaking bell, and yeah, I hope that you get to see notices when I release videos. This YouTube algorithm really has tossed things upside down recently. They're doing so much changes, and it's probably the AI also doing weird stuff, so hopefully it will get better soon. And yeah, I just hope that you catch up with my videos. Thanks for hanging out today. See you guys. Bye. Let's take a little bit of outro music from that upcoming track with the guitars from the Dream 65 and the Midtown Custom. Just some chill out stuff.